marvelous makers
and art appreciators.
to the ArtSpace podcast,
Brought to you by Lemon Street Gallery and ArtSpace.
located at 4601 Sheridan Road.
Stop on by your favorite citrus-themed art gallery.
Do it.
A lot.
Yes.
We want to see it.
Yes. And I am your host, Shelby Nesmith, if I could say my own name.
And I'm Jake Hoy.
I'm over caffeinated, sorry.
Very different from the other episode we just recorded.
Had a big old iced coffee, so but either way, we are here with my little goober.
People at home do not know what that means.
Yes.
I am Shelby's partner, Alex Braun.
Yes, we are here with Alex Braun.
Yay, Alex is here.
Yay.
2 episodes in a row.
You're our first technically double.
There we go.
No, wait.
If you listen to episode 50, there's a little bit where he calls Shelby partway through, and she answers him, I believe, on your watch.
Yeah, my Apple
So
Watch.
the audio is not perfect, but
yeah.
you can hear him. So
Yeah.
I'll take it back. Donovan was on twice
oh sure,
because the book festival.
for the book festival and his regular episode.
Yep, and Jill. Book festival. We have a couple doubles, but you're in the double club.
Okay, I'm in the double club.
Yes.
I'm a technicality in the double club.
Yes. And Joseph, technically, because he was at the art
And
market.
technically next week we'll have another repeat guest, I believe.
Yeah,
So.
so we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
So I'm not as special as you first mentioned. Okay.
Just mostly.
Yeah,
Just mostly.
just mostly. You're special to me, goober.
Aw.
But so yeah, this is my partner Alex. He do you want to explain what medium you mainly work in?
Mainly. Okay. Mainly makes that a lot easier because there's a lot that I work in, but I mainly work in metals. So I work in brass and copper a lot, and I also do a lot of printmaking. Those are my main mediums that I work with.
You really enjoy an etching and some woodcuts.
Woodcuts, etchings. I also really enjoy jewelry making, and just overall kind of sculptural work as well.
Yeah, you do a lot.
Yeah.
Very nice.
But yeah, so this is gonna be a chill, different kind of episode. Obviously, because I know this guy too dang well. But we're gonna have fun and
I have an oddball question to start us off. Isn't a goober, isn't it like another name for a peanut?
yeah, chocolate covered peanut.
That's like a brand name?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was just. I thought you were mixing up the word legume.
Maybe that's where it comes from.
I think that's probably where it comes from.
Peanuts are legumes.
Yeah, legumes.
I got a goober to me could be like just a goober to me means just like a little ball of mess or something, or just like a little
A goofy goober.
yeah. Just
Is that from something?
It's SpongeBob.
SpongeBob. Okay, that's what
Yeah.
I thought.
Yeah.
But I usually identify goober was just like your silly little ball of mess or something wacky is within you.
Wacky,
So
silly, funny little guy.
If you
That's
have
my
been
goober.
around Shelby socially long enough, you will eventually be called a goober.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
A goober or a bubby. You'll be either one. Both of them are endearing, and I don't know. It's just I feel like it describes people really well.
I get called both on a regular basis.
Mhm.
So does our dog, and both of us have turned to answer multiple times.
Yes. Goober, bubby, booger.
Booger.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just feel like they summarize a
Very similar words. Lots of B's and G's.
yes.
Yep. Yep. I won't respond otherwise.
Yeah. So
I forgot my name.
or I'm yelling at Alex trying to talk to Alexa.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Oh.
God. At the
So
very
bad.
beginning, when she was really, really bad, you'd go, Alex, and I'm like, she's like, yes, nope, the other one.
The other one. I don't like talking to things. Like
I don't have any of those. Like, what do you even call them? Like, is there a term for like
Smart
Alexa,
home.
Siri, all those
or
kind of?
voice assistant.
voice
Voice
yeah.
assistants,
I don't. I
voice
never have
assistant.
done any of them. I don't like it.
But it's sitting right across from us.
I don't like you.
Oh. Oh.
Into the little
It's okay.
speaker.
She's not plugged in.
Yeah, she's all good.
I don't know. It kind of falls over the line into that like privacy. Are they listening? Like Big Brother kind of thing. And I know they
I
are.
mean, they're listening on their phones.
I know you can't escape it, but you can limit it.
Yeah, I
Like,
guess.
Yeah.
Alex has.
I worked at Best Buy for many, many years.
Mhm.
And at that point, it's like, well, it's so cheap to get into. Might as well. I like being able to lay in bed and tell her to turn the lights on and off and
That
change
is
the
nice.
temperature.
Yeah.
That's 90% of what we use her for.
But then I'm screaming at her because she doesn't listen to me. I swear.
And
Our Alexa at home she's like sexist or something when I
Oh.
try and like.
I have heard that Alexa and voice assistants and just AI voice readers in general have an easier time
Male voices?
hearing male voices because female voices are a higher pitch. And
Oh,
it's a
so
harder
high
time.
pitched and whiny.
I didn't say it. It has it at a higher register, so it doesn't read female voices as well.
Oh, well, thanks.
So next time you really need Alexa, just be like, Alexa,
Call her
turn
by
on
her.
the lights.
her
Play heavy
government.
metal music. Play Slayer, Raining
Alexa.
Blood.
Well, good to know. But when I'm yelling that, it's a little hard. And I'm trapped in like a dark basement and I'm just yelling, Alexa, turn on the lights.
Alexa, call the police.
Yeah.
We do have a light switch in the basement, you remember?
You wanted to get rid of the light switches and I said, no, I would like to push a button.
Yeah, we have the buttons. I have them upstairs. I have them in the laundry room.
I know, but you wanted to get rid of them and I'm like, no, we can't go fully just voice or else I'll be trapped.
All right.
Either
Maybe
way.
someday
Yeah.
we'll get
Yeah.
there.
Yes.
That's the
And
dream.
That it is nice to have at night, so you're not trying to wake up the other one.
Yeah. Either way.
Yeah.
Either way.
Questions about art.
It's like I said, this one's gonna be
This is a chill one. This is a chill one.
Chill.
We're just hanging out.
Mhm.
If it's a chill episode, do you want me to ask your pre-question instead of you?
Sure, go for it.
All right.
Anything.
All right.
Anything.
Well, our general pre-question is, how would you classify like the genre that you work in? Is there terms that would sort of cover?
Like your
I-
style.
Yeah, like
The
I
style.
know there's a
of
lot
art,
of different mediums.
I
Mhm.
I like sheet metal work.
Okay.
So it's kind of a mixture of 2D and 3D art in a way. And I like a lot of. And when it comes to like printmaking, I translate that very heavily into it. So no matter what I'm working on, it's very sculptural, kind of a process oriented artist. I like to make things and have physical things that kind of go into it. I'm not one just to like make a drawing. I don't like not that I don't like it. I don't make very illusionary art. Like it doesn't have like the sense of depth per se that a lot do, or I don't try to draw things that have like shading and stuff like that. I tend to let the materials and the piece itself kind of speak for itself with the textures, with the natural forms. I like to do a lot of patinas on my
You are a patina guy.
I am very much a patina guy. I like to put a lot of patinas on my jewelry pieces because it kind of feeds in this natural, organic, not necessarily, human aspect to it that I find interesting.
Hmm. And he's very inspired by skulls and
Mm-hmm.
bones and stuff.
Vulture culture, as a
Yes.
lot of people say.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
So he really likes bugs
Mhm.
and
bugs and
and
bones
bones.
and
Bugs and bones.
specimens.
yes.
Yeah.
How do you do the patina? Like, is it like an acid or something like that, or?
So mostly what I do is I actually use some pretty household chemicals. I
Okay.
use most of my patinas are either done using just distilled white vinegar and salt or ammonia. And when those are with copper or brass, they make a really nice like seafoam green color or like a really bright like electric blue, just like naturally on the actual metals. So it has some really cool effects there.
I believe there was a piece in Shelby's last show here that had a part of yours that had a patina on it as well, if I
Yep.
recall.
Mm.
Yep. And that
That's
was just
good.
done using salt and vinegar, basically.
Very cool.
And there's other patinas you can use, like electricity and stuff, like crazy things. He doesn't do.
Oh,
damage
Yeah,
sounds
at all.
I don't do a lot of that stuff. You can get some really cool patinas just from like natural processes. Some of them require heat and other things and more harsh chemicals than what I use, but you can get some like pinks and yellows and like really nice greens and things like that.
What'd you do to get the pink one on the bull skull?
That I just
necklace?
used heat.
Oh, okay.
So you can also just use heat with certain materials that kind of creates a scale on it that has kind of a iridescent kind of shimmer as well.
So you popping that in the oven, or you got a blow dryer?
Blowtorch.
Blowtorch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like making a souffle.
I already do a lot of soldering, so I just have it close. So honestly, it's just easier.
Just hit it with some heat.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it brings out kind of the pinks and the copper and everything. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, so I've got like a bull skull necklace, which I haven't been able to wear yet.
Very often, yeah.
So we got to do a little repairs, I believe, on that one.
No,
with the
that's the deer.
Oh, the deer. And then he made me a deer skull. Like it's like an arm bracer for your forearm.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like a bracelet that'll sit on your
Like
forearm.
a thick bracelet.
It's like the face of it.
It's a bit wider for a bracelet.
Yeah.
The face of it is bent and it'll sit around the forearm, and then there's a chain that goes through the back half of it.
Okay.
So it's kind of like a
Like Wonder Woman has those. Ching, ching.
yeah. So
yeah.
it sits on your forearm, on the middle of your forearm.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he really likes to carve out skulls and play with negative space and within jewelry pieces, and playing with like if it's a necklace, seeing how it'll sit on the body and like how it interacts with the clavicle and everything. So he's
Ooh, big word.
yes,
Yeah,
clavicle.
clavicle.
I broke my clavicle once.
Oh,
You did?
Have I told this story?
No, tell
No.
it.
It's the only bone I ever broke.
What?
I think it was my right one. Not really sure.
That's gotta hurt
I
too.
was 5, 4 or 5. I was in kindergarten,
What?
and my
Soft
dad.
bones.
I ate a lot of cheese, but my dad used to work nights. He'd have to like be at work at like 3 a.m.
Mhm.
So I think like I had a nightmare or something. I was very young,
Mhm.
and I like went in to sleep with my mom, and my dad wasn't there, so it was like I just took the other side of the bed,
Mhm.
and I was used to having a bed that had sides. I had like a race car bed kind of thing.
Oh,
Like the
And-
little
yeah, with,
bowling
like-
alley bumpers.
Yeah, like bumpers kind
Yeah.
of, but
Mhm.
they were padded
Oh,
on
okay.
my bed at the time. And I rolled off the side of the bed, and they had a dresser right next to the bed. And my clavicle hit the corner of the dresser
Ow.
as I was falling,
Oh.
like my head between the bed and the
Yeah.
dresser.
Oh.
Yeah, and I don't really remember the rest. It was all kind of a blur, but I did have to wear. I had to get an X-ray, and they said it's broken, and I had to wear like a sling. It wasn't in a cast,
It was
but
like-
I had to wear
yeah.
like a sling for like a couple weeks in kindergarten.
Oh my goodness.
Not fun.
And not trying to move around as a kid, and it's just like, ow.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm here.
Luckily, I was not a very active
Yeah.
kid. Oh, I don't know. Every kid is. But
Yeah. But you're not like this guy on the couch that was running around like
I've broken a bone in all 4 of my limbs, or broken and or dislocated a bone in all 4 of my limbs.
I mean, you already like just at breakfast this morning told us a story of one of the
me
dislocated.
Yeah, of South American
dancing.
dancing on like their Independence Day, and just my foot decided it didn't want to turn when my knee did, so just
Wait.
went right out of there. And then it's like, all right, well, we get to see a foreign healthcare system today.
And I have never done any of that. I haven't broken a bone, dislocated anything. I haven't done anything like
The worst injury you've ever had is that sore shoulder you got.
that.
yeah.
No, I think I lost my toenail,
Oh,
and that was
Mhm.
traumatic because I was a kid. We were at a gas station, swung open the door, and I was wearing flip-flops and just went whoosh, took it right off. So
Ooh,
that was probably my worst injury ever.
yeah.
But
my only other bad one besides the clavicle was I sprained my ankle, but it was like a really bad sprain, like it was almost broken,
oh,
and I had to like wrap it in an ace bandage and like, use crutches for a couple weeks, and I was rollerblading when I did it.
My sister broke her elbow rollerblading.
Ooh.
And it was like
Recently.
a really bad break, like surgery and pins.
She's got like a
and
metal part of a metal plate
Oh.
in it because it was
Yeah.
right by the elbow. So it was like,
she messed up her elbow.
yeah, she
Yikes.
fell backwards on it and just a huge scar now on her arm. And I feel so bad.
It's funny. She does not care about the scar on her arm at all.
She's like, whatever.
She's like, it's fine. It's there. It's kind of cool, I think. I'm like, yeah, that's the last thing I expected from her.
Yeah.
Because she's
Well,
a little bit sensitive to stuff like that.
Yeah,
so.
we don't need to get into the
Yeah,
family
yeah.
details here, but
I kind of like scars. I got a scar on my hand. You can still see it, kind of.
Oh, yeah.
I'm showing them.
Yes.
It was from like a very mundane thing. Like I was opening a box and with a knife, and then like I kind of just scraped over my hand. Like it didn't even barely draw blood. It was one of those where I thought it was just a scrape, but then it just kind of stayed for a while, and I just knew right away like that's gonna scar.
Yeah.
And my friends were telling me like, oh, you got to put like ointment on it, and use this kind of lotion and put it on twice a day. And I'm like, I don't really care about the scar. I'm fine with it. It's just on
It's
my
there.
hand,
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
Makes me look tough. If it was on my face, I think I would probably be doing whatever
A
I
little
can.
more, but
It's bringing it back to jewelry and kind of tying it in. I
Yes.
actually have a scar on my thumb that I was sawing something with like a little jewelry handsaw,
that's right.
and I slipped, caught my thumb pretty bad. I, in hindsight, should have definitely gone to the doctor and like had it stitched
Sewn
up
up,
or
yeah.
something.
Yeah.
But I just rinsed it, put a Band-Aid on it. I had a brief episode of, all right, I'm in shock and shaking a little bit and pale. Sucked it up, and then I think I went back to working on it
Yeah.
that night.
Oh,
It's
it's
just like,
such a
let me
good
just, instead of pressing with my thumb, I'm going to press with my index finger
Don't do it
instead.
again.
Yeah. Was that in college or was that?
That was during college, yeah.
Oh,
I that was still when I was living back at home.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So it's
Was
been
CLC then.
yeah, it would have been back when I was at CLC. I'm trying to figure out. I don't know what piece it was. I've bled for many of my pieces over the years.
Oh, yeah.
But that's the nature
Blood,
of
sweat, and no tears.
It's
Yeah.
devotion.
yeah. And funnily enough, with all the times that I've hurt myself, and I've got plenty of scars on my hands to show it, I've only ever needed stitches one time.
And I was there for that one time.
You were there for that one time, yep.
And it wasn't even doing artwork. It was
No, I was working on something in the basement.
screwing in a light fixture thing.
I was working on something with a light fixture. I had to drill into a piece of metal that I stupidly enough thought, it's okay, I can hold on to it. Drill caught it, thing spun around and caught me in my
Just-
pinky finger.
Gee.
but-
So
The only stitches I've ever had were in my mouth.
Same.
I had like
Wisdom
an
teeth.
oral.
I had my
Do
wisdom
they
teeth.
do that for wisdom teeth? Then I probably had
Yeah.
that too.
yeah, they're the ones that like dissolve.
Yeah. I was thinking I had this thing like cut out of the front of my mouth, like the thing that
Mm.
goes between like your top lip and the like gums above your top front teeth.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know
It's
a
like
lot
a
of people
little-
who get that like pierced.
Yeah. it's
Inside?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Why?
like
I can't even
the
see
same
it.
little thing. Well, you can see it like in your teeth here. It like hangs down.
Oh
Yeah.
gosh. Okay.
It's like
kind
a
of weird,
septum-
actually. Yeah,
It's like a septum ring, but you
Yeah.
took it and just put it.
I
in your
get it. I just don't know why.
Yeah.
Like, anyway.
yeah.
Yeah. I got that cut. Like I don't know if it wasn't completely removed because I can still kind of feel it,
Oh, okay.
but I think it was to make my front teeth grow together more. Like there was a little bit more of a gap
Mm.
before.
Oh.
I don't remember the decision with that, but they gave me laughing gas, and that's the only
Oh.
time I ever had laughing gas.
Oof.
And I just was like narrating like a video game that I was playing at the time, telling them exactly how you beat the water temple in Ocarina of Time. That's all my entire memory. And then I started singing like the songs, like from Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, I can see you
I-
doing that.
You gotta do Zola's lullaby. Doo doo doo. Oh, wait, no, that's a Pona's song.
I think I did something similar when I got my wisdom tooth surgery. Was afterwards I started singing whatever was on like the informational video of like, here's how you take care of your moron that just had his wisdom teeth ripped out.
Well, you didn't even do that. Got lockjaw in a different country.
Yeah,
So-
that was another fun time I had.
Wow.
Yeah.
Instead of talking about art, let's just talk about like
Yeah.
medical
All the
history.
times yeah. I got lockjaw to the point where I couldn't open up my mouth wider than my thumb is.
Is that from tetanus?
I don't know if it was from tetanus. So I didn't really speak Spanish at the time, and my mother couldn't read the doctor's handwriting when we sent it back. So we think that I had a cyst in my mouth or something that just kept me from opening up my jaw. I don't know exactly what caused it. It might have been tetanus. I don't know, to be honest. But what I do know is I couldn't really talk to anybody. Doctors really couldn't help.
Yeah, because he's fresh in this.
This is probably like 3 months into being in a foreign country.
Oh, wow.
And this is after I already hurt my knee, by the way.
Yeah.
So I already had a reputation at that point.
Oh, man.
Yeah. He's broken. Broken gringo.
The broken gringo. Basically, yeah. They're like, you're kind of accident prone. I'm like, yeah. I was 17, couldn't really speak the language, and I was very, very dumb, and decided, you know what? The only person who can fix this at this point is me. So if you've ever looked at your thumb, it's just about wide enough that you can get a couple of fingers in there. So I can get a couple of fingers on my top jaw, a couple of fingers on my bottom jaw, and I just went and pried it open.
Yeah.
Did it work? Like,
I mean, I'm talking now.
oh, man.
I mean, granted, I can still, like, my jaw still gets stuck every once in a while, and I can, it, like, clicks.
Yeah.
It's about the sound of, like, when you crack your fingers. I'm not going to do it on the camera because that's gonna
on what camera?
I'm not going to do it on microphone.
Yes,
There we go.
What
yeah.
camera?
Because, to be honest, the microphone would probably pick it up.
Oh. I don't know. We got good filters, but...
I would hope not.
Okay.
For our viewership, I will not do it.
Fair warning.
Yes. But so yeah, he's accident prone.
Well, we're glad you're still here, still standing, still talking.
Yeah.
Would be hard to do a podcast with somebody with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How's it going, guys? Yeah.
Okay, well, we're gonna ask another question, I guess.
Yeah.
So, who or what influenced your art making? Because I know you used to. Well, actually, let's wind it back because I realized we didn't even ask that. What are some of your earliest art memories? Because I know you had a poetry phase.
I did have a poetry phase very early on. I thought I was a fantastic poet. Looking back, I'm like, wow, that's kind of cringy. But you know, that's how you are when you're in like high school, middle school, that kind of range. You think you're the greatest at everything you do. Hey, it's okay.
I think we've talked before how I was technically a published poet. I think that came up during the which episode was that?
I can't remember.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe.
Okay. Anyway, sorry. I'm technically in a book of poems.
So was he.
I was too, but it was one of those you pay to get into it. Yeah.
Yeah, where like they just basically charge your parents and they make like $40 off of every parent that buys the book.
Yeah,
exactly.
Literally.
Yeah. And then it's just like, all right, here you go.
You're published.
You're published now.
Yeah.
I got a pin and everything and like a book of 400 poets, and I'm like, oh,
yes,
I'm not special.
I'm not special.
I didn't even get a pin. So
yeah. Oh, and then I did get into like a community college like publication.
Oh, you did?
It was like one of those everything's printed on paper and like spiral bound kind of ones. They just kind of hand out, but I did get into one of those, which was fun.
You got me beat.
One more.
My poetry career ended with that one poem.
The sky is pretty.
Mine ended with college because I'm like, oh, I vastly prefer visual art over like spoken art or things like that. So written.
Yeah. But what is your earliest art memory?
Earliest art memory.
And we totally prepped him for these questions.
100%. I was entirely prepared for all of this.
I'm an awful partner. I just said, hey, you're doing this, right?
Yeah, she told me this on Saturday, and this is Monday. So
I'm usually the one that'll like kind of send the questions ahead of time. So I drop the ball on this one.
Yeah,
that's okay.
It's like, you got someone on hand, right? I'm like, yeah, he lives with me.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all right. I've got a person. You're free that day, and I'm like, you do know that I am free that day, so I can't even say I'm not.
Hey, we're having fun.
We are having fun. My earliest art memory would probably have to be before I got like into art, like in college. I guess I made some like beaded necklaces that were a lot of fun.
Yeah, you did do those.
I did some of those. They were interesting if nothing else, but I don't think they were super great. But
Just
I did have
beading
a
isn't your
yeah, it wasn't
your
my thing.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun though. I got to play with a lot of different stones, and really what got me into art, and it's most of what I do now, is gift giving. It allows me to give something of importance to people that I care about.
Yeah.
And whether it's super expensive or not, just the light on someone's face when you give them something thoughtful like that is so much different than when it's like, oh, here's this thing that I know you want. You're like, oh yeah, that's exactly what I asked for. Cool, thanks. I appreciate that. I was expecting this. Versus like, hey, I sat down for like several hours and made you this thing. And then it's just like watching their jaw drop and be like, you made this? Or Shelby's like, you were making this for me?
Yeah.
It's a little more risky than just buying like a Target gift card or something. 'cause
Right.
They might not like it. But
Yeah.
But the fact that
high
you
risk,
kind
high
of
reward.
yeah, it's like taking that time to notice some quirks or specialties or something that they're just really attracted to, and then factoring it into the piece. It just shows that you watch and you care, and I just love giving either like local or handmade stuff, because there's just a level of care in that you don't get in like a mass-produced mug or something. I don't know.
Exactly.
I have for the past couple Christmases taken like all the hats that I've made throughout the year, because I just kind of make them as like self-therapy sort of. And then I end up with a ton of hats, and then I just would give them away at Christmas to like the entire family of my girlfriend at the time, and like twice in a row. And I'm like, guess what? More hats this year.
Woo! Yes.
Yeah.
I think I have one of your hats at my house, because she's not very much a beanie person.
I gave him the hat you gave me.
Yeah.
So,
That's what I told. I said, here, this is for you. Give it away. Regift it if you want. Whatever.
but I saw the green, and he has a green winter jacket too. So I was like, that should work nice. I'm just not a hat person.
Do I still have that?
I don't know if you do.
I thought I got rid of that. I think I got rid of that one because it got really tattered.
Yes. Okay, never mind. Either way, he's still going to wear it and enjoy
100%,
it.
yeah.
It's fine.
It'll go really nicely with the denim one. There we go.
There we go. I'm just not a hat person. I wish I was.
I only wear winter hats. I don't wear baseball caps.
I'm bald, so I have to be a hat person. Otherwise, I get really cold during the winter.
Cold, yeah.
And during the summer, it's like, well,
sunburn, right?
Burned. I'll get, on a really sunny summer, I'll get this like half moon shape on my forehead, because I always wear my hats backwards. And then the little hat window is right in the center of my forehead.
Yeah.
You got to get like a little like sunscreen, like chapstick size thing. Like most chapsticks have like SPF 15 in it. So
yeah,
like,
I could just put chapstick on my forehead. I wonder if that would make me break out though. That's my only thought.
Yeah, instead of having sunburn in that little...
Just a patch of acne.
Might be worse.
A semicircle of acne.
Disregard. Disregard.
Either way.
Like a little cookie cutter shape.
Yeah, it's just... But, so you went to CLC, and that's where you fell in love more with
jewelry making and kind of getting into art. That's also where I got into like digital art and getting like starting to enjoy that. Then I moved on into more, I guess I'd say, like graphic design, like metal, like fabrication style work, and more, I guess I'd say, advanced metalworking stuff. So I've done like some casting stuff. I've done some woodworking, some ceramics. I've basically, so Parkside offers all of like 4 different types of 3D artworks or 3D art like sections. They have sculpture, which is mostly metal casting. They had a metalworks class for a while, but I wasn't there when I had it, but one of my jewelry making classes counted for that.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
Ceramics and then woodworking, and I was able to basically take all 4, even though they didn't offer all 4 at that point. So I was able to get all 4 in at the same, like within my time there, and it was a good time. I enjoyed all the classes. I spent so many nights in that studio, and
that's where we met.
that is also where I met Shelby.
Yes.
I saved her from another creepy dude named Alex.
Yes.
That she's like, thank God, another person.
Well, because I was trying to get into the classroom. I had grants and like financial aid to go to college, and sometimes there was delays in activating your key cards to get into classrooms and stuff. So I'm standing out here, my key card's not working, and this random guy just walks up to me and starts talking to me and like spilling his life story, and I'm like, I don't care. Like I hate that feeling when you're trapped in that conversation where it's just like, you're holding me hostage here. Like, we could just be standing here in silence and that'd be fine. Like
the retail workers next to you are like, yeah.
You would not like my job.
Yeah, like Gertrude, thank you. I appreciate you. I don't care that you had to have your hip replaced. I want to show you where you are in a park. I want to show you what computer you need to buy. Stuff like that. I totally get it.
But so yeah, trapped with this guy, and we're standing in the hallway. I'm like, does your key card work? And he's just like, no, I don't think I have it on me. And I'm just like, gosh, dang it.
Okay, now go away.
Yeah, please go away. But then I see this guy walking down the hallway, and I remembered you had like a stack of food because you went to the cafeteria under your chin. You had like a sandwich and a drink and everything, and you're balancing it under your chin, and you're walking down the hallway to the 3D. And I see this person, and I'm like, please, please, please tell me he needs to get into this classroom. It was a little early. I had an awkward amount of time between classes, and I was like, I have a coloring book, adult coloring book with me. I'll just go to my next class, and just color. And so I'm like, please.
Granted, I also looked like a maniac at that time as well. So she's like, This guy at least seems better than the guy that I'm with.
Oversized, like, leather coat and just, like, really baggy clothes, but, like, he's just swimming in these clothes. And I'm just like, please, someone.
Before she met me, I was an absolute feral man.
Yes. But, so I'm... Please let me into this classroom.
Please let me in. You don't need to sit next to me, eat your food in quiet. Just... leave me be and distract this other dude.
But he walks up and he's like, oh, you're trying to get in this classroom? I was like, yes, please. He ends up, we're all sitting at the same table. I'm on the furthest side away from both of them. But the two Alexes, they start talking, and he kind of just takes him away from me. And I'm like,
good man.
Thank God. Thank God. Because I think you were picking up on the vibes of like, I don't want to talk to this guy. And
knowing me, probably not.
No.
I probably didn't pick up on it. I probably just naturally was like, this dude won't shut up, so I'm not going to shut up either.
And so I sat there and colored.
Not one to be outdone.
So I sat there and colored while they talked. And so he saved me from that conversation. And then
he left the class, and then months later,
he would call me by the wrong name.
I kept calling her by the wrong name.
He kept calling me Abigail.
What? That's not even close.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, I'd call her Abby, which is a little bit closer to Shelby.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like how you're humoring me there. Thanks, Jake.
Abby, and I'm like,
yeah, she just didn't respond. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, wow, she's a terrible person. She's just ignoring me. She just doesn't like anybody.
And then there was a day, it was just me and him in the studio, and I'm working on our project, and he called me Abby, and I'm like, I am not Abby. I don't know who the hell you think you're talking to.
She's like, Abby. I'm like, she doesn't respond. I'm like, Abigail. He's like, are you talking to me? I'm like, yes, your name is Abigail, right? And she's like, no, it's Shelby. I'm like, oh, I'm the jerk here.
Yes.
I'm the moron.
Maybe it was like a
Understood.
tactic. Maybe that I could see that being like, is that like negging or something?
like calling someone the wrong name.
Number one trick to pick up girls:
Yes.
call her by a different name.
Oh,
Yes.
Every time that you see her, call her a different. No, that's not
Or
what it
just
is.
a slightly different name. Just
I'll do that
slightly.
sometimes with people that I'm annoyed by,
Oh yeah.
to like just like kind of let them know that I don't care about them.
Is that why you keep calling me Alec? No.
Alec.
Yeah.
You got to go totally different.
Oh, okay.
You got to be like, hey Joe.
Yeah. Whoa. Yeah. It's like, but
I'll just completely ignore it, and I'll be like, he's not talking to me, I guess.
yeah, they're not Goober or Bubby. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But we're gonna get back into the questions, I think, when we come back from this break and a word from our sponsors.
Hello, ArtSpace podcast fans. This is Joseph from Draw Joseph Studio. Most of you know who I am. I have this fabulous world-class draw studio up in Racine at the Racine Business Center, 1405 16th Street. My studio is real easy to find. It's on the first floor on the east side, right inside the tunnel. If you know the Racine Business Center, it's a big, tall brick building, and there's a big Von Schrader on the east side of the building, and the tunnel's right underneath the Von. So come in the tunnel, first studio to your right. And on every Tuesday afternoon at 5:30, the gates open up, and at 6 p.m., I have a model posing. You're invited. It's free. Tip the model. Hope to see you there.
And we are back from that break.
Hi, hello.
Hi.
Thanks for staying with us.
Yes. We're still talking with Alexander Braun, my goober.
Alexander the Great.
Alexander the goober. Yes.
Alexander the all right.
Yeah.
I think he's great.
Yeah. Aw, I think he's pretty great too.
Aw, thank
Yeah.
you.
But well, we've got questions.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
We got some more.
Yeah.
Up next, who are some of your favorite artists? And that would include like local artists as well.
So 3 specifically come to mind.
For the big guys.
For the big guys, for the more well-known ones, my 2 favorites in terms of not just artists but also art movements. I really like Alphonse Mucha and the Art Nouveau movement. That really has a lot to do with what I enjoy because it has a very kind of decorative style that I like. I also like the overall design and simplicity of the Japanese woodblock prints. So kind of like the Hokusai era and things like that.
The Great
Yeah,
Wave.
That's like Great Wave.
Yeah,
of
Great
Kanagawa.
Wave.
Yeah.
Yep. The ukiyo-e prints, so like the courtesans and the actors and all of those are also really
Iconic,
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I would say my favorite, probably local artist, and I believe he's technically local, would be probably Trenton Baylor.
Oh yeah.
He was actually one of my professors in college at
yeah.
Parkside, and his work had this really interesting marriage between wood and metal and having these really organic, really kind of flowy shapes to them. And then
Very dramatic furniture.
yeah, very dramatic, very, very statement piece furniture. That I've also had the ability to sit in, and I'm like, this is like ridiculously comfortable as well. And like looking at it, you wouldn't expect that.
The science behind ergonomics is insane.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Even just like the jewelry that I do, I like the furniture you make has to think about the like pieces that you're working with or the people that you're working with, and then thinking about that with the jewelry as well kind of ties into that. So that's one of the main things I took away from Trenton's classes with that.
Professor Baylor.
Professor
Maybe we
Baylor.
got to get him on the
Yeah,
podcast.
we
Yeah.
do. We do. As
I'm sorry, Trenton.
as Lisa's yelling, yeah, you should. Difficulties. So. But and then any other local people you wanna shout out? Your beautiful, wonderful girlfriend.
Yeah, I was about to say
Aw,
my
thank
other
you.
favorite artist
Aw.
is Shelby Nesmith. the wonderful executive director at Lemon Street Art Gallery.
Oh my goodness, shush. You didn't have to do all
She's
that.
great.
You didn't have to do all that.
Hey, listen, you give me an inch, I'd take a mile.
Oh, sure. Oh, goodness. But yeah.
And
those
then
are-
other artists that I also enjoy, I wouldn't say media, like artists. I do also really enjoy two specific authors that I pull some slight, I guess I'd say,
some themes of their work,
from,
yeah.
some ideas from. Pablo Neruda, a famous Chilean author, was one of my favorites. And then I also really like Charles Bukowski. So two very, very different authors, but both of which I like for the specific reason that whenever I'm reading their works, I'm kind of hanging on every line versus some other poets and artists that I've read. It's like, well, there's so much dead space in between things. There's not as much flavor in every like line, every word. It doesn't capture me the same way that they do.
Aw.
You spent time in Chile, right?
I did.
We alluded to that a little earlier.
Yeah, with all of my numerous injuries there.
It's an interesting country. I've always been fascinated by it because it's so skinny.
Yeah.
It's
Meteorologically, it is a absolute phenomenon.
Oh, insane! The driest place on Earth is the Atacama Desert in northern
is.
Chile. They get like a tenth of an inch of rain like every 10 years or something.
And
like
I think there are
Whoa.
even places there that have never seen
Yeah.
rain.
But they get fog. So there's actually some vegetation, very limited vegetation in some spots because of the fog that comes in off of the Pacific Ocean.
Oh, that's
And-
interesting.
But it's since there's no rain, there's like no clouds there. Since there's no rain, there's also nobody there.
Yeah.
So you don't get any like light bleed through. So astronomically or astrologically,
Yes.
I don't know. One of the two. Yeah,
Yeah.
one of the two. The stars are really, really pretty there. You get some of the best nightscapes that I've really ever seen there.
Have you been? You've been there?
I haven't gotten to go to the Atacama. I only went as far north as Santiago and like Antofagasta region.
Mm-hmm.
So like towards the center of the country, which still is plenty toasty. Don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah.
Probably my favorite city on the face of the earth is in that area. It's Valparaiso.
Oh yeah.
It is a artistic wonder because basically whatever street you go down, there is street art. There's a mural. There's art somewhere on that street. Every corner has somebody playing like a drum or performing or some sort of performative art. It is basically just a city of art. Can be a little bit rough in some spots, as you'd expect with a city of artists. It's not exactly the most prosperous.
Hey, now, hey.
But it is a really, really fun city, and I enjoyed it so much. But I lived towards the south, so I lived in Temuco, which is in the Patagonia region more so.
Okay.
So
The climate there is very much
very
different.
different.
Like cold, wet.
Cold, wet, snowed a couple of times when I was there, which people don't think about that when they think of South America. But we would get, I think in some parts of the Patagonia, you get 15 inches of rain a year. It was, they had dry, which was very dry, and then they had wet, which was, you had puddles like tens of feet off of the curb that you had to try and find your way through. So it's just like, all right, I'm not wearing shoes I care about at all during this time of year.
One of my hobbies is playing GeoGuessr. I don't know if
yeah.
you're familiar, but
Yep.
I could
and
see that being
Chile is a real killer sometimes because you'll be like, oh, I'm in Seattle or I'm in
Yeah.
Portland. And it's like, no,
Yeah.
this is southern Chile.
Yeah.
You get 0 points.
Exactly. You're like, wait, where are the pine trees?
Like Tierra del Fuego. One time before GeoGuessr was even a thing, I used to just click around on Google Street View just for fun, and I was clicking around, and I think it was either southern Chile or southern Argentina, and I'm like, oh wow, it's fall. The fall colors are here, and then I look at the little thing. It tells you when they took the photo, and it was like April.
Well,
and I'm like, oh, that is fall.
That is their fall.
Yeah.
yeah. It's that was another fun thing. That year I had 3 summers because I left the U.S. during like July, so I had summer here. I went to Chile. It was the middle of their winter going into summer. I had summer there. I left there during August, so then I come back to a little bit more summer here.
Yeah.
So it was 3 summers in the same year, which is a wild thing to even say, let alone like experience. December, we went out for a swim, for Christmas Eve kind of thing. It was definitely an interesting.
Christmas
situation.
is like their like summer vacation.
Exactly. Yeah. So it was weird. My junior year consisted of the tail end of my junior year and the starting of my first time of my first half of my senior year, because their school seasons are also opposite.
Oh, that's right.
So I came in the middle of junior year and left in the middle of senior year. So I had half a junior year and 3 halves of my senior year.
Aye. And you just goofed off when you were there. I'm gonna be honest.
100%. 100%.
Supposed to be in class, and he's just like, no hablo español.
I played that no entiendo nada, soy gringo, no entiendo nada. I played that so much, and it was just I did not spend as much time as I should have in class, but my high school kind of gave me a pass because they're like, he didn't really understand the language, first off. Second off, he's not willing to translate what these grades translate to, because they had like a 1 through 7 system. Oh. And they were like, what translates to what? I'm like, I never really got a direct translation, so I don't really know how these would translate to English grades. I'll be honest, I know full well a 1 is not great. I got pretty much straight 1s. I might have gotten a 2 or a 3 here or there, but
oh yeah, 1s are good.
Yeah, I had teachers that I did not see for most of my school time there because they were kind of a pain. So I'm like, I'm just going to avoid your class, skip out on it when I can, and come in late so I don't have to deal with it. I wasn't the best student.
For the kids listening at home, don't do that. Ever.
Yeah, don't do that ever, please. And we're on to the next question.
Keep her moving.
Yes. If time and money were no object, what would your dream project be?
I already have an idea for this that I've been building up in my head. I would construct these standing pieces of lumber and have a cast bronze like anaconda or something kind of like coming out from within it, and just cast all the individual pieces and kind of construct it onto this main center plinth kind of, and make it like a big old like railroad tie. So it has like this really kind of like creosote kind of industrial feel to it, and then the body of probably like the snake or the animal of some sort coming out of it, and
so a large scale casting.
A large scale casting, specifically of a large animal. Snake, maybe a.
You do like snake.
I do like snake, but it would also be cool to do something like a tiger or something.
Whoa!
Like a life-size casting of one. That would be so much fun.
Out of aluminum?
Probably bronze.
If there was no limit?
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, dumb question.
Go.
Yes.
What's casting?
So casting is where you are basically taking a positive, making a negative of it, and then using that negative to create a positive out of a different media.
Okay.
So I made a lost wax bronze casting of a sculpture of a deer skull that I made. So I made the original positive out of clay. I then cast that in silicone, then into wax, then into essentially concrete, burnt out the wax, cast it in bronze.
Oh,
yeah, so when you pour it in, it'll remove it's lost wax. So
correct. Yeah, so the wax goes away essentially. It gets burnt out.
Yeah.
It took me I think that project took me
80 hours probably.
Over 80. It took me over 100 hours. Well over 100 hours to do it over the course of one semester, because I had had about 80 hours of class time, and then I spent at least an extra day a week, as well as probably an extra class period after each one. So it was probably closer to 200 hours.
Was that an independent study that you just did it for?
No, it was a sculpture course. It was beginner sculpture. I was also the only one who finished my sculpture as well.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
because and then thank you to Baylor. I know he helped you like weld.
He did. He helped me
jaw.
weld a couple of the
'Cause
pieces
he's like,
together.
you're not gonna learn how to weld.
You're not going to have time to learn how to TIG weld in the 2 days that you have to do this. Like, thanks, Baylor.
Baylor's a good welding instructor. I learned how to
Yes,
weld from
he
Baylor.
is.
So
When you were describing that whole process of like all the different castings, it
Mhm.
reminded me of like these videos that you'll see on like Facebook and stuff, or TikTok probably too, where
Mhm.
it's like, you don't have to buy flower pots. You can just make them like this, and then you carve it in the sand, and then you pour
Yeah.
this thing in.
dumb
That's-
5-minute crafts.
Yeah, and just
So
get out your
that's,
industrial blowtorch and heat it up to about 5,000 degrees to melt
Yeah.
the steel, and then pour it in.
And you have a flower pot.
It's like, I'm just
Exactly.
gonna go buy a flower pot.
Yeah. It's what that's most of what you see there is what's called cope and drag casting. It's an oil sand that they use. So it's not even just regular sand. It's a specific sand. But it is a very similar process. You have the positive, you're taking the negative. The negative is that what they pour the metal into.
So that sand
Yeah,
portion.
correct. Yeah. So that sand portion is your negative. Like the original that they use, like the
The
if
cup
they're making
or-
some sort of weird like rake thing or something like that. I've seen stuff like that, weirdly enough.
Make your own forks.
exactly.
It's like, I'll just
Yeah.
buy a fork.
Oh no, my
Yeah.
metal rake broke while I was raking my yard. How
Yeah.
do I repair it? Oh, just
Yeah.
do this.
Just make another one.
Yeah.
Okay. And even then they make it out of like aluminum, like that thing's gonna break in a month.
Yeah.
But it's a very similar process to that. And then it's just a little bit more in depth because it's a little bit more 3D than that is.
Right.
But
Yeah.
that was a fun time, a pain in the butt, but a fun time.
And then what kind of wood did you use for that metal?
I use Paduke for the
Paduke, that's
for
what
the
it was.
base, and then I had a copper piece that I cut out I made fire like copper, because the title of the piece is When Hell Smiles Back. So I made the deer skull kind of look like it was almost like grimacing, smiling, and then it has like this fire and this bright red wood underneath it that makes it look more menacing. And then I did a ammonia patina on it, so it has like this bright blue kind of color to it as well. It's like an electric kind of blue.
It's a cool one.
There's a type of wood called Paduke.
Yeah.
Paduke.
It's
Never
like
heard of that.
a bright red,
It's an
orange
exotic
kind
wood.
of wood. Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Hard to work with, but luckily the slab that he got was pretty much cut to fit, so he had to just do some small trimming. But
yeah. I had to
it's-
trim it down. I had to bevel the edges, sand it, finish it, that kind of thing. So it wasn't too crazy.
yeah,
Found out it's not. It's a little bit. You can have some allergic reactions to it. So I'm like, God, why does my hand itch like crazy right now? And it's because I was working with this Paduke, and then I put like hand lotion on.
so it basically just
and-
rubbed it in.
Chemical reaction.
Yeah, the chemical reaction. I'm like, my hands are burning right now. What did I do? Lo and behold, it's me being an idiot.
When I first heard you say that word, I thought you were saying the city in Kentucky.
Oh, Paducah. I have family in Paducah, so
Yeah, fitting.
there's probably some sort of like matchup there. But it's like this really dark, like blood red wood.
Ooh,
Yeah, it's really
very
cool.
pretty.
Mm-hmm.
But-
Well, I think we're on our last question.
Oh,
Yeah, we could go. Yeah.
Okay. So, Alex, what are some of your thoughts about the local art community?
What
Strengths,
could we-
weaknesses?
Yeah, what
I
can we
think-
do?
I think there's a really good art community in Kenosha. I think
Yeah.
there are a lot of really strong artists and a lot of people who have been doing art for a long, long time. What I think Kenosha as a community lacks a little bit of are younger artists, or a younger art scene, I guess I'd say.
Mm.
So we have the, more seasoned, more, like knowing what they're into
Fine art,
their
yeah.
art,
Mhm.
like artwork artists. I want to see a little bit more of the younger experimentative like pieces there, just because there's not as much, I guess I'd say, young blood in the art community here. That's my only I guess I'd say, critique of the art community here in Kenosha. Not to say that there aren't any. There are definitely young artists in Kenosha, but
get involved in the scene. Yeah.
exactly. And I think that there's being a young artist myself and knowing other people who are young artists, it's easy to make little of your work.
Oh, yeah.
And to also get caught up in life and not be able to make your work as much as you want to. Distractions are a thing after all.
Love you.
Love you too. But it is it's easy to think little of your work and let life distract you too much. Don't be afraid to get out there. Put your work in. Lemon Street's,
We're
always
here for you.
here for you, always looking for new artists, and would love to see some work put out there.
Aw.
Yeah, or you could take a class.
Yeah, take a class, learn a new skill, learn a new trade. Hey, maybe you eventually become an artist here, that kind of thing.
Or you could vend at the art market. I mean, there's
Yeah.
opportunities out there. And
Yeah.
because we have such a good experienced artist base, those are people we can learn from
Mm-hmm.
and take their experience over their lifetime of working as an artist locally and learn from the mistakes and the successes.
Exactly.
Definitely.
You don't have to make all the mistakes yourself. You can let other people do that for you.
Learn from them. Well, awesome. I know we can't find you anywhere.
I'm
Not yet.
not
He's
as
elusive.
Yes.
I'm a little bit elusive in
Just
that
like me.
I haven't been making as much art as I should be recently,
That's
but
okay.
that's we've all been through that time. I don't really have a social media presence or any pieces at the gallery here
Yet.
or
Yet.
yet. I haven't even applied yet. Don't
Yet.
get excited. But
You'll find him here. You'll get here.
You'll find me here eventually. You'll find me here eventually, and eventually I will have more of a social media presence then as well.
Yeah. You'll work on it.
Yeah.
I believe in you, Bubby.
Thank you.
There it is.
Yes.
Yeah. There's the bubby.
Yes, there's the Bubby.
It's not just lectures today.
Jeez. But yeah.
Well deserved lectures. We'll be clear about that.
Because I love you.
I love you too.
But yeah, and you can find us at the gallery. yeah, we're here.
Lemon Street.
Check out Lemon Street. You can also find us on social media, Facebook at the ArtSpace Podcast and Instagram at the ArtSpace Pod. And you can get us wherever you get your podcasts on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and our very own YouTube channel. So if you can leave us a like, a comment, review, whatever platform you're on, that'll help us out a lot and spread these wonderful stories of these wonderful artists. So, yeah.
And we want to thank our sponsor, Joseph from Draw Joseph.
Mm-hmm.
We want to thank Would You Kindly for doing our theme song.
Mm-hmm.
We want to thank Alex for being here with us today.
Bubby.
Ray of sunshine in our life.
Yeah.
And we want to thank you, the listener, for listening and tuning in.
Yeah, it's been a fun one. It's a chill one. And any parting words, Alex?
Make art.
Good.
Enough said.
Dramatic. Make it. Do it. Okay. Well, awesome. Thank you for those final words. I think that about wraps it up for this episode. And we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Depression, addiction, the thrill that you seek. Our restlessness cages the fire we need. We're here to